President Uhuru Kenyatta yesterday led the cabinet to a retreat in Taita Taveta. But something very interesting happened there. Fred Okengo Matiangi, the cabinet secretary for interior, received President Uhuru Kenyatta. In an ordinary circumstance, the person who is supposed to receive the president is actually his deputy, William Ruto. That was a clear breach of protocol. So today I want us to look at why that particular breach of protocol happened in the presence of the president himself. But before we do that, if you are watching this video for the first time, I want you to take a second or two and click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. Now, back to the main issue. President Uhuru Kenyatta yesterday led the cabinet to a retreat in Taita Taveta. But the president was received by Fred Okengo Matiangi and not the Deputy President William Ruto as per the protocol. I want you to watch this clip very shortly.
I'd wonder, why did I decide that I wanted this event? I had personally preferred to wait until next year.
Watch very closely what's happening up here. You can see the body language between the two.
I'd wonder, why did I decide that I wanted this event? I had personally preferred to wait until next year. But after watching and listening to certain individuals speaking out of total ignorance, and I'm sorry to say that must also include some members of the Fourth Estate, and to hear them talk about, Germans coming to do Huduma number. I don't know which contracts being signed for, I don't know how many billions. So I decided it's important I bring you so that you can meet the Germans. These are the Germans that... so you can meet them in person and ask them all the questions that you have. Because it is these brilliant young men and women who just with a little bit of financial support and using their ingenuity have helped us to develop a platform that allowed us to do our census and deliver the results of a census in record time until we have countries from all over Africa, including Europe, wanting to know how did you manage to develop that system. These are the Germans that did that work. When we had...
And the photos were actually shared on the official State House page. Now, this is what Kipchumba Murkomen posted after that incident. The Deputy President Fred Matiangi receiving president thereafter introduced other cabinet members. Those of us who didn't witness the last days of Mzee Jomo Kenyatta will see things in the next 22 months. Now that was a clear breach of protocol. And just like I keep on saying on this platform, that in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence. Everything is normally designed to achieve specific political objectives. I've read comments from various people, and the explanation which was being given is that Fred Matiangi was closer to the president, that when the plane carrying the president landed, Fred Matiangi was much more closer than the deputy president. And that's why he was the first to greet the president. I don't want to agree with that. Normally what happens is very simple. When the president is supposed to arrive, these guys normally line up. And the deputy president is supposed to be the one to receive the president. This didn't happen. It was by design. I noted three clear things from this particular incident. Number one, the distance between the two, that is Fred Matiangi and President Uhuru Kenyatta, and the distance between President Uhuru Kenyatta and the deputy president. Something was very clear. Fred Matiangi was more closer to the president than the deputy president. If you watch this video closely, you'll realize that Fred Matiangi was standing much more closer to the president. The deputy president was standing not very close to the president. Probably this means that the current relationship between these guys, probably this signifies something which we all know, that the distance between President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy today has widened, and that Fred Matiangi is now more closer to President Uhuru Kenyatta. That's one thing that we can easily tell from that photos, from those videos. The second thing which I noted was that while they were standing, because the president arrived, he was received by Matiangi, he greeted these other cabinet secretaries, and then at some point he was standing to talk to some of them. It was clear that Fred Matiangi's hands were actually straight, while those of the deputy president were actually folded behind. It only conveyed one message, that the deputy president is actually a frustrated man. That was clear. I want someone who understands the body language to interpret that, because the president, both the hands of the president and friend of Matiangi were actually not folded behind. But the deputy president was standing away from them with his hands folded to the back. The third thing which I noted is that the deputy president was clearly detached from these two gentlemen. Fred Matiangi was standing close to the president. The deputy president was detached. Immediately Matiangi received the president. Then the president greeted his deputy. Then the deputy president then detached himself. And even when they were walking, he was detached. The president was talking to Matiangi, but the deputy president was just detached, thinking very hard, probably as an outsider, or he had nothing to say. So I noted those three things. I don't know what you particularly noted or observed from that particular incident, but later on, that protocol hitch was actually fixed later on in the day. The president was now walking with his deputy hand in hand, and Fred Matiangi was no longer in the picture. I think when these pictures came out and Kenyans started talking about them, then these guys decided to correct that particular anomaly. But the question is, why was this incident allowed to happen? So why was this clear breach of protocol allowed to happen? In my view, I have only 4 reasons. Number one is the event of the day. The president convened cabinet retreat, and later on the president also unveiled what he termed as Kenya's best kept secret. Basically, he was unveiling innovations, local innovations by the youths. We all remember that the Deputy President William Ruto has been traversing the entire republic of the country using mkokoteni, wheelbarrow, and the hustler narrative. The president, on the other side, is now unveiling world-class technologies. He's unveiling nanotechnology. The president is unveiling to the world what the youths of this country are doing. They are making drones. They are creating e-payments which will be used by the entire country. Basically, these were also the same youths. William Ruto is giving them wheelbarrow. The president is unveiling to Kenyans the youths who have been doing a lot in the background. So in my view, the mere fact that this particular event was for local innovations was to counter the narrative which the Deputy President has been trying to advance, the politics of wheelbarrows and mkokotenis. And I want you to listen to the President himself making this particular funny remark.
Hiyo ni moja. Na ya pili, kwa wenzetu, najua mnapenda siasa sana. Hata labda wengine mlikuwa mnafikiri tumekuja kwa sababu nimewaita kwa sababu ya siasa. Kama ningewaambia nimewaita kwa sababu ya kazi kama hii, labda hata hamngekuja. Hata nyinyi. Let us love our country also. Let us be patriotic. Let us build our country.
Number two, I also believe that probably the Deputy President William Ruto was an unwanted guest in Taita Taveta. The President has been very clear on one thing, that there is no need for early campaigns. He has advised his deputy to stop early campaigns severally. But the Deputy President has continued to defy that order. So the President is dealing with a defiant President. So when he invited the cabinet to that meeting, probably he didn't expect his deputy to attend that particular meeting. Because remember, the Deputy President had planned to attend another function in Muranga, which they cancelled at last minute. So probably they knew so well that the Deputy President was going to go to Muranga and not attend this particular event. And that's why in their program, they arranged that Fred Okengo Matiangi was the one who was going to receive President Uhuru Kenyatta. Number three, I think also it has to do with the role Fred Okengo Matiangi is playing in securing the president's legacy. Uhuru Kenyatta has a legacy which he would want to be achieved at the end of his term. His deputy is not keen on his legacy, on the president's legacy. So the president then handed over this task to Fred Okengo Matiangi. And because of Fred Okengo Matiangi is forceful, he's trying to execute and ensure that all the legacy of the president is going to be achieved. And that's why in Manyani, he was working very close to the president. Because probably Go back. The dog inanisumbua hapa. Go back. Because probably, so that dog has confused me. But I was saying that Fred Okengo Matiangi is probably the one in charge of securing the president's legacy. And because of that, he has to work very close to the president. The president has trust in Fred Okengo Matiangi. And remember, the unveiling of those local innovations want to counter the deputy president's obsession with mkokoteni and wheelbarrows politics. So I'm sure because Fred Matiangi is the one charged with securing the president's legacy, and these innovations are part of the president's legacy. Because if you listen to the president's speech, he was also very clear that he would wish that the next world-class leaders are going to emerge in terms of technology from this particular group. And I think because of the role Fred Okengo Matiangi is playing in securing the president's legacy, that's why he was very close, briefing the president as they were working. And because the deputy president didn't have anything to brief the president on, he didn't fit in there. And lastly, I think the whole thing is also about the isolation of the deputy president. These guys are still very keen on isolating the Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. I don't know what you think. Let me know your thoughts on this matter. Thank you guys, and please watch out for the next video. I'm actually going back to Kisumu today later, and I want to thank my friend for his hospitality.